If you are a Jerome Kersey fan or have yet to see much of his gameplay, stay tuned because this guy puts on a show in this episode, constantly getting to the rack, highlight quality dunks often finished with trips to the free throw line. I could not stop this man. The swing players on my Celtics roster of Paul Pierce, Larry Bird, Ray Allen, and John Havlicek simply did not have the quickness or the strength to keep up with his bully ball, as Robert Parish makes a nice heads up play as he tries to hot dog me. Let's see if I can get some points out of that. Paul Pierce cannot convert this three-point attempt. Maybe a little bit too rushed, maybe two more passes would have done the trick. But instead, he's back out into transition with Jerome Kersey, but this is one time he cannot come up with a bucket. Paul Pierce with the excellent defensive stop, standing up Jerome Kersey and forcing the ball back out of bounds. He gets another crack at it. He's got big O Oscar Robertson. You don't see a whole lot of him in my team mode. He also has Hakeem the Dream Olajuwon as Larry Bird knocks down that nice hippie hop step. At the center position, one of the most desirable players in all of my team. I would love to have a player like that. He can play great defense. He can shoot the mid-range jumper and get damn near anything he wants inside and under the hoop. Unfortunately for my opponent, he either is unaware or chooses not to take advantage of these things, as Hakeem Olajuwon never seems to get fully involved in this game. We're going to get the ball to Larry Bird, as I almost always try to run the offense through his hands, make sure he gets 1 to 2 touches on every single possession. In anything in a half-court set, he needs to get the ball. As you watch him execute the pump fake, dribble left, pull up to perfection, you have to respect the jump shot. Often defenders will leave their feet trying to get a hand up, and they are out of position. Just like that, Larry just needs a little bit of space. The legend can knock it down from anywhere that is reasonable. John Havlicek is a player that I do enjoy playing with. I never seem to get him enough touches in the game. His position is often filled by Ray Allen or Paul Pierce, who happen to be more effective three-point shooters. Well, actually, they're better than effective. They're excellent three-point shooters. Ray Allen obviously has the history and credentials of being one of the greatest three-point shooters of all time, as well as a outstanding three-point rating in NBA 2K13. Paul Pierce can also shoot the three-point ball. His jump shot is very simple with a high point of release, and even with a early release point inadequate feedback of a B- or even lower, the basketball will consistently find the bottom of the net for Pierce, as it does for Ray Allen on this attempt. Early in the game, my opponent has been very relaxed in defending the three-point line, allowing Ray Allen and others to get to their spots and have some space to shoot the ball. That's one thing you do not want to let happen with this Boston Celtics legacy roster. There's just too much outside shooting. As my mouse crashes into the floor, Ray Allen gets another attempt, dropping rays of sun all over Golden State.
Celtics down 2. Garnett comes out, sets the screen. Pierce got Kwame Brown in the switch. Pierce in the lane. Garnett the corner. Ray for the win. Charlotte beats the Celtics.
Ray Allen has made his share of game-winning shots, but the misses are what drive him.
You see guys walk in the gym and they kind of mess around and shoot. They're never game shots. So my warm-ups are free throws. You know, that's where I work on my release. Shooting for me is not about my upper body. It's really about my lower body. So when I'm shooting the ball like I need to, I jump in this one motion. And I always know why I missed it. Short, legs, long, I'm aiming it. I always can tell right away. You gotta be able to turn your body and your feet at the same time and still come to your shot and be going up as if you were standing there. But being right-eye dominant, if I'm coming this way, all I had to do was see the basket from right here, and I can shoot it from like that. I don't have to turn all the way this way. If all those things are equal, then the guy that's guarding me is in for a long night. In for a long night.
You come to training camp, even when I was in Milwaukee, like you change things, and you know the league changes a little bit, so you got to figure out how different you're going to play and you're going to be played or guarded defensively. So I always just said, well, let's see how everything works and how it goes. And you know, the one thing that I could do is, you know, you make your free throws and your shots when you're open, you're ready to take them, be prepared to make those. So when you look at your percentages, you know, the one thing I always learned when I was younger is if your percentage is at such a great efficient level, then the coaches have to look at it and say, we got to get this guy more touches because he's highly effective out there and efficient when he has the ball when he scores, so we got to get him more touches. So that's under my control. You know, a lot of times I'm sitting behind the three-point line, and, you know, I've always, you know, I'm not, my whole career I've done more than just shoot threes. You know, that's just kind of how I've gravitated towards, you know, what this offense has allowed me to do. But teams take that away. And, you know, I know how to go to, you know, get into the mid-range shot or get into the basket, but I can't do it too much to the point where, you know, it's at the, you know, at the mercy of what our offense is doing. I'm trying not to hijack the offense, but just, you know, make sure I make my plays, because teams really take me out of, try to take me out of the offense early in the game, so I just try to find different avenues to be effective. In 2008, when I got here, that was extremely hard because I wanted to do more. And I still want to do more, but then it was like I was going off of what I had done my whole career, so I wanted to come here and do the same thing, but in order for this team to be successful, I had to take, you know, a couple steps backwards and, you know, allow, you know, to fit in a system where it's going to work because it wasn't built around me. So that's just part of, you know, being a part of a good team and trying to.
How different is it with Ray no longer being a part of the team, considering all the things you guys have been through as a family, on the court, off the court, and just all that?
When a guy makes a decision based on him and his family, you can't ever get upset with that. My personal feelings, I won't put into it. Only thing I say is I wish Ray the best, and that's what I say.
Is it tougher though, Kevin, to keep your personal feelings out of it when you have been through the battles?
Absolutely.
Have you had a chance to talk to him since he made his decision?
I don't have Ray's number anymore, so I'm not trying to communicate. Just being honest with everybody, you know, it's not that, you know, I don't wish him less than or whatever. It's just what it is.
Kevin, just as a follow-up to that, why don't you want to communicate with Ray?
I choose not to. It's a choice I personally made. You know, I told you, I'm very close to Ray. I know his family. I wish nothing but the best for him and his family. I just made the choice of my own. So,
what do you tell your teammates who have played with him in the past just about moving on for this season, moving on with the guys that you do have now?
And that's really what it is. I'm focusing on JT, Courtney Lee, the new guys that are here. Just like at one point, you know, when I first got here, I was focused on, you know, obviously there. I wasn't going to come here and answer a bunch of reality questions. I was going to obviously answer one time and then focus on what's right here in this gym, and, you know, what's present. That's what I meant.
Man, that guy Kevin Garnett, he takes his basketball serious. He doesn't hold back either. Nope, I don't have Ray's number anymore. Damn, you guys won a world championship together and you can't even call him? Wow. Maybe you'll get your revenge here in the next season or two. We'll see what the Nets are going to shake out like, because you know the Heat are going to be contenders. It's the jury's still out on the Nets. I think there's potential there, but there's definitely some age and there will be some cohesion issues. You remember even bringing together Boston the first year or Miami the first year, it all didn't click right away. There was definitely somewhat of a struggle early on. The East is going to be much more competitive than people think. I believe there are probably 6 quality teams. You've got New York, Miami, Chicago, Indiana, the Brooklyn Nets, I mean, there are quality teams there. Every year there's other teams that show up as well. I think that the Nets will obviously make the playoffs. I do not think that the Boston Celtics will make the playoffs. They are on the outside looking in. They are closer to landing the #1 or #2 pick than they will be to making the 7th seed. One big story from the Boston Celtics this summer is the rise and glory that is now started around Kelly Olynyk. And this young man has basketball pedigree. His father was involved with Team Canada basketball for years, and there is a story where his dad cut Steve Nash from the junior team. And that moment, as it seems like many professional athletes have and share that similar moment, was the time when Steve Nash dedicated his life to the game. All of our heroes, all of our legends face these similar obstacles along the way, whether it be Michael Jordan getting cut or Steve Nash getting cut. But not to get sidetracked, we'll focus back on Kelly. This guy played ball at Gonzaga University, actually led that team to the #1 ranking in the country, which is quite the accomplishment. I don't know how many people could have ever predicted that. He can shoot the ball from mid-range very effectively, a little bit outside, and is very, very deceptive and effective underneath and close to the basket. Ray Allen can still shoot. Take a few minutes, go to the NBA website, and check out Olynyk's Summer League play. Pretty impressive.
Kelly, welcome to the job interview.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations, big fella.
Thank
Heck
you.
of a season.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
Put your squad on the map this year.
Thanks.
What was it like being on the #1 team? That must have been crazy.
Yeah, it was definitely crazy, especially because our school never accomplished that before.
Yeah.
So it was really neat to have that happen. I mean, the campus, the community was going crazy, so it was fun to be behind that all.
Coming to the NBA, congratulations on your journey.
Thank you.
Decided
Thank
to
you.
leave school.
Yeah.
What went into your decision?
Ultimately, what it boiled down to is I felt like I was ready to go. I'd already graduated a degree in accounting.
Good for you.
So my schooling was already done, and I felt mentally and physically I was ready to make that next step.
What concerns you about being an NBA player?
You know, that's tough. I mean, you never want to kind of go in having concerns and having worries and having doubts about yourself. So I think
Good answer.
the biggest concern is kind of that next jump of physicality, and everything's going to be that much stronger, that much quicker, that much faster. So I think that's just something. It's not really a concern. It's just something that you're going to have to adapt to and get used to going forward.
But the difference between players that have staying power or not is how hard you're willing to work. Can you
Right.
talk about your work ethic?
I'm not super athletic. I'm not gifted athletically as a lot of guys at this level are. But I think what's helped me succeed is my work ethic, especially in college and in my redshirt year. I think really excelled me and really kind of instilled a work ethic and a drive in me that kind of pushed me to this next level.
Let's go to the footage.
Let's go to the footage.
Now that's a
Kelly in
7-footer
action.
outside the 3-point line.
Yeah, look at that. Well, this is
Able to make plays.
It's the Dirk influence.
Yes, indeed. Going left, spin
Ooh.
back right, on balance, soft touch.
Soft
Always
touch.
follow through in the lane.
Oh, what's? Oh, I like
Oh.
this.
Over the top. That's
You
what
like that,
gotta,
Chandler?
I love
You like
that.
when they go right to the rim.
I do, because a layup in the NBA right there is blocked. He goes like that.
I would have gone up and under reverse, and then that would have been blocked. Oh,
Oh,
high screen. You'll be running a lot of those in the National Basketball
He and
Association.
Harris would have bust 4-5 combination
Yeah.
in college basketball this year.
See, I could see him on the Spurs running that with Parker. Where's the best spot on the floor for you to succeed? Like top of the key, like Marcus Saul?
I think you can operate in a lot of different spots. Kind of
You like back to the basket, or you like top, or you like the flexibility of being able to do whatever?
kind of like the flexibility, I think.
Who do you look forward to playing against?
You know, I really want to play against Dirk. I mean, that's someone I'd
Oh.
play against as well, just to see what.
Because you liked him as a kid. I like that.
Yeah,
Yeah, I like that too. So Kevin Garnett had a player that looked up to him, and then he actually got a chance to play against KG. And KG was mean to the guy, elbowed him, talked trash to him. So you're playing against Dirk. Dirk, get out of the way, Rook. Jumps up in your face, he's talking trash to you. Then what do you do?
Hey, step up, man up.
I'm gonna DM Dirk when he plays Kelly and be like, this kid idolizes you. You gotta punish him. You gotta treat him. All right.
Thank you for spending the time.
No
Best
problem.
of luck.
Good luck. Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Have a long, successful career, big fella.
Thank you.
Now, he may look a little bit like a young Birdman Jr., but he's not. He's got an all-around game, and honestly, I wasn't that impressed with the acquisition. 16th pick, taking on another salary, but from everything that I've seen, I mean, the kid can play. And I know the tape can be deceptive. It's the ball that don't lie, but we'll have to wait and see. And, you know, people are pretty high up on the dude. Golden State once again showing their dominance inside. McGinnis, Hakeem Olajuwon, and along with Jerome Kersey, they've got a lot of size in there. Even Oscar Robertson and Chris Mullin, tall for their position. Larry Bird, they gave him way too much space. What are you thinking? That's an A+, green money. Jerome Kersey's been getting his way all game, but he nearly turns this ball over. And George McGinnis needs to plead temporary insanity for taking that shot. Rajon Rondo looking to push the ball up court, and he continues with his slow start with another turnover, but never give up. You get back on defense, you interrupt the play, ends up with the rebound, and here we go. We're at it again. Let's get the ball to Larry. Another hop step right at you. 2 points. Now, anybody out there watching that doesn't have Larry Bird yet, or has him and can't stand using him because his jump shot is inconsistent, learn how to use that hop step. It is not cheese. That's a standard basketball play, especially for shooters looking to find space. As I did there, you can even use it to draw the double team and then pass back out of it. Even though I couldn't get anything out of that particular possession, you will see me take that hop step and then follow with a bounce pass. Often it ends up in easy points. Rondo gives it up once again. It's not his game. This time Lou Hudson takes it all the way to the rack for 2 points. I'm being far too predictable from the point guard position. He's able to get a jump on the pass. I get a nice look for Larry Bird here, and this is the reason why people have trouble using him, because he won't knock down the easiest looks. If that was a hop step leaner with somebody trailing him, he'd stand a far better chance of the shot actually falling. See, this time Paul Pierce with the hop step, and I pass out of it, finding Ray Allen in the middle of the floor with a near free throw. You know he's going to knock that down most of the time. Nick Anderson at the three-point arc. He's a little late to pull up. I get out in defense, forced to miss, but in typical 2K fashion, he gets the offensive rebound from the bad three-point attempt. I'm back out at the other end. Can't make that, but Robert Parish with the big-time putback, showing people why he is a top 50 player of all time. He's got a handful of championship rings, one of the most dominant centers of his era, and if he played in today's game, I think he would give a player like Dwight Howard, DeMarcus Cousins, Nene, whoever else you want to throw at him, I think he would give most of those guys the works. And the crazy part is, he's not even a top 10 Celtic. Ray Allen, definitely not. KG, nope. Paul Pierce, debatable.
Really not one topic.
You know what? I really wanted. We talked about that earlier. I don't know what the sound of a zebra makes. Why don't you try? I don't. You know, it's like.
Well, what do you think a zebra would sound?
A horse. Well,
it'd be like something like that.
That sounded like something that was.
That'd be the one that was running down the street in Atlanta today.
That
escaped from the circus.
Caused Kenny to come late. Look at that thing.
There you go. And you can see why. So anyway, what we were discussing in the Barclays Zone was, since we have a legendary Celtic here, all-time great Celtic. So we're trying to come up with the top 10.
Well, this is how the conversation started, Ernie. On the slam dunk, on three-point shooting contest All-Star Weekend, Kenny said that Paul Pierce was one of the 10 greatest Celtics ever. And Paul Pierce is a terrific player, but I disagree. So I came up with a list. Russell.
Okay.
Bird, for sure. McHale, for sure. Parish, for sure. Havlicek. Go ahead. Cousy. Go ahead. Collins. Go ahead. Dennis Johnson. 8. Sam Jones. 9. JoJo White. 10. Casey Jones.
11.
And you don't think Paul Pierce is better than 3 of those guys? I do not. Casey, you don't think he's better than any of those guys? I do not. You don't think if he was on those teams the same way that those guys, he would be just as a great a contributor as they were? I think he would have been a contributor. But they're just as great as a contributor as not the Bird, McHale, Russell crew. Well, because Bird, McHale, and Collins. But the rest. Hold on. Bird, McHale. That next 5. Sam, if you know that next 5, he's right in there. Hold on. Bird, McHale, and Parish is the greatest front line to ever play the game. That's right. Well, other than Dennis Johnson, I think Dennis Johnson was a better player than Casey Jones. Well, I don't think that. But I think if you take away Dennis Johnson, who should be in the Hall of Fame. Yes. Who should be in the Hall of Fame. I agree with that. Is JoJo White in the Hall of Fame? Yes. Yes, he is. Everybody on this list is in the Hall of Fame. Yes. So, like, Dennis Johnson should be and everybody else is. If Paul Pierce was on any of those teams, he would have been just as major contributor as Sam Jones.
You know, here's the thing. You have a legendary Celtic here. Yeah, go ahead, weigh in here.
Okay, they're all multiple NBA champions. All those guys have won, 5, 6, 7, 8 champions. You're talking about Casey Jones and Sam Jones and those guys. In their era, those guys dominated. I mean, dominated game after game, year after year, ran off 6, 7 NBA titles in a row and walked over people and did it with grit and toughness. And I mean, I admire those guys so much for how they played and the toughness and their desire to win every single game. Going against Wilt Chamberlain every NBA Finals, when he was with Philly and in the conference finals and trying to beating him in LA when he was with the Lakers. So that's why I don't touch those guys. I'm not touching any of those guys. Okay. I'm not touching the Cowens era, the Sam Jones era, the Bill Russell era. I'm not touching any of those. But when we move into the 80s, after you 3 guys, if you put Paul Pierce with you guys, he's just as major. The only guy other than those 3 in the 80s is Dennis Johnson. When you talk about Bird, McHale, and Parish, I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying, I don't want to say who I should take off, but to me, he's still in my top 10. I understand that, but you take a Bird. I'm going to throw a name at you, Charles, and unfortunately, Reggie Lewis died. But had Reggie not passed away,
he would have been a better pro than Paul Pierce.
He was getting into his groove and was making multiple All-Star teams, and I agree, would have been a better player.
When you joined the Celtics, who was the legendary Celtic you looked forward to meeting the most?
Well, there was 3 of them. There's Tiny Archibald. I was just intimidated by Tiny because he was too quiet and he was really good. And so then there was Pete Maravich, who was just fun and out there. And Dave Collins was, again, a guy we talked about on our list, had already won MVPs of the league and was 6'8". I'm like way bigger than he is. I'm thinking, this guy won the MVP of the league at center? And so those guys were amazing to go through training camp with. They were just really fun. And as I called home and told my friends, I said, you wouldn't believe Tiny and Pete. I said, and then this Bird guy, he's really good too. And so that just goes to show my first training camp.
Hey, you know what's funny? Every time I see Dave Collins, I tell him, they had to be padding your stats because nobody can get that many rebounds. I mean, when I look at his rebounding numbers, I'm like, nobody could get that many rebounds without them padding them stats.
His MVP year, I think he averaged like 17 or 18 rebounds. And he was 6'8".
Yes.
But tough. I mean, loose balls. He was just knock you over.
That's what it was. Tougher than me. Yeah, he was tough.
That's the.
I beat Dave Collins like he's told.
Are you? You done with the Barclays Zone?
Yes, we are. Okay, wait. If you were Celtics, would you be on this list?
Yes.
Oh, big question there.
Yes, he would. He'd have won multiple championships, Chuck. He would have won multiple championships, Chuck, and you'd have been on there.
Oh yeah, I'd be way up there.
There you go.
Is that the?
It sounds like a donkey. Give us a zebra on the way out one more time. That's an ailing zebra.
I don't know exactly.
I don't know.
I never heard a zebra or a giraffe in my life.
That's a sickly zebra.
Chain-smoking zebra.
So that's what they get paid for. Up there with sound effects like they're radio disc jockeys. And I love those guys, but they're clowning right now. This ball game's over. I'm just trying to wind the clock down a little bit. But if you've ever played much with Danny Ainge, especially ever tried to run him at the point guard, his combination of slow foot speed and lack of height has often led to turnovers, as he commits another one right there. Maybe that's just me. I am a bit careless with the ball at times. And my opponent is not quite satisfied yet. He wants me to commit just one more turnover before we head home to Boston. He decides that he wants to chuck up one more three-point attempt with Del Curry, the unstoppable man. And this ball game is finally over. I wish I could have showcased Hakeem a little bit more. Give this video a thumbs up and subscribe if you think Hakeem the Dream should have got more touches. Larry Bird snags player of the game away from Ray. Check out all my other uploads too, people. Have a good day.